All right. So Jacob Fogg, the next person to come
Man,
and
why'd you have to put me right behind Richard?
I know, I know it's kind of brutal. It's kind of
Yeah,
brutal. Yeah, but hey, you know what? You're not Richard, and you got a lot to say, my friend. You know, he's got his
fair
things to say.
enough. Fair enough.
He's got his area of genius. You got your area of genius. So I'm gonna first just I'm gonna talk about you. Time permitting, I'm going to talk a little bit more about you and some things that I've noticed in you later. But just to start off, if you know Jacob, kind of how he's positioned in the publishing community, this guy has been a faithful advocate for many years. And just I would say Jake, you probably correct me if I'm wrong. Jake's one of his core values is loyalty, and
Yep.
so Jake is one of those people that combines an intense sense of loyalty and taking care of people with a vast technological and problem solving intellect. And so then what that leads to is Jake being kind of a one stop shop in the dev world, specifically around WordPress and content management, where he's able to come in to context, and specifically in the publishing context. There's a lot of times people don't have super robust technological teams, and he basically is like outsourced CTO plus development. That's kind of how he's been working with people. But the reason I invited you to this conversation is because we've had so many conversations about publishing and the advent of AI and what that means for the publishing world. And so you're my go-to guy when it comes to, the heart of publishing and media and the impacts of artificial intelligence, right? And so I know you spend a lot of time polishing and increasing your knowledge on that topic. And so bringing you in to talk about, okay, what are the AI impacts? What is the potential and the impact of artificial intelligence on that core asset that I've said is the publisher's core asset, which is trust within a community, right?
Right.
With that, man, I'm gonna turn it over to you to kind of inform and delight everybody with what you know on that topic. And once again, very much appreciate you coming.
Yeah. Yeah. Super excited to be here. So as Johnny said, my name's Jacob Fogg. I founded Copper Press a few years ago, kind of as a side hustle. And in the last, I don't know, 9 months, I've shifted to doing this full time. I was working with Data Joe for the last, I think, 15 years or so. And so it's been a wild ride shifting to this new organization. So my superpower is really dissecting complex problems and finding elegant solutions, and usually with technology. That's what gets me excited. Oh, I forgot to start a timer. Hold on. I need a timer because, man, when I was preparing for this, Johnny, like I mentioned to you earlier, the hardest part is I feel like I have so much to say, and I only get 15 minutes. So,
Yes.
um,
You go a little over, buddy. You go a little over. Don't worry. You started a little late, so don't worry.
yeah. So, what is Copper Press? Copper Press is all about digital partnership and innovative solutions. I offer digital consulting, custom development, and web hosting for publishers. And so today's talk, I've really mulled this over quite a bit, just trying to boil down what is the essence of what I can bring to this gathering. And so I realized that this talk is all about the intersection of AI capabilities and publishing's objective to engage and grow their communities. Because I mean, honestly, what's the point in publishing if we're not fostering the community that we serve? And so that's really what it boils down to. So I figured I'm going to do exactly what Richard didn't want to do, which was everything I'm doing today is all about live presentation. I've seen a lot of AI talks where it's all about this kind of ethereal, what can you accomplish? What are some ideas? What are, what can we look forward to? And I feel like what's more useful is like, let's get our hands on the technology and figure out how can we actually put this into practice. And so I'll be sharing my screen here in just a minute, and we're going to be diving in head first. But before we do that, I just want to just kind of lay some groundwork. AI, especially ChatGPT, which is one of the tools we'll be primarily using today, it's not a Google search engine, and so we got to stop thinking about it like a search engine. We've been pre-programmed for a decade to use Google in a very specific way. And when it comes to these chat bots, including the Bliss bot, you got to think about it in terms of a conversation. And as soon as you make that mental shift, it really unlocks the possibilities and capabilities of these tools. One warning is AI does hallucinate. Especially when you start deep diving into it, you're going to find a lot of things where it tells you some information. That information might be completely wrong. Just a couple months ago, there was a headline of a lawyer who got completely busted because he was using court precedents in one of his arguments, and the precedent did not even exist. And so, that's lovely. So when you're interacting with tools like large language models like ChatGPT, it's super important to make sure that you do some fact checking, especially if you're using any information that comes out of it in content that you're writing. That's super important. And I'd like to just dispel one big fear. I don't believe, especially in the publishing world, that AI is going to replace you. It's not there. It's really not. When you start reading and knowing that you're reading content that's generated by AI, suddenly you start recognizing it. One example is, I was just putting out a job posting to hire a developer, and I got so many resumes back that were clearly and obviously written by ChatGPT. They literally took my job description, dropped it into ChatGPT, and it spit out this is why you should hire me. And it almost verbatim read back to me what my job description was. And it's like, if you can't bother even taking a moment to tell me a little bit about yourself, I'm not going to take a moment to even follow up with you. And so I don't believe that it's going to be replacing humans. I do believe that it's going to equip us to be more effective and more efficient at what we are skilled to do. So I have this quote. It's AI is not a replacement for the human touch in media. It's a tool that amplifies it. It will allow publications to understand, connect with, and serve their communities better. And so with that, I think I'm just going to jump in. Where I want to start, let me make sure I've got the right screen here. There we are. So where I want to start is one of the most powerful tools that I have established within ChatGPT itself, and that is to literally create a chat room that is called Act As If You're Me. And in this room, I have prefaced it with a description of who I am, who my company is, what my core values are, some interesting information about myself, who my clients are, the type of person I am, some information about my family, authors that I like, activities I like to do. And using this as a starting point, I can now interact with ChatGPT and accomplish all sorts of things, from the mundane of write an email to a potential prospect, to anything of that sort. I can interact with it, and it already knows who I am. Just a while back, I had done something. I'd asked it to write an email and to include a quote from one of my favorite authors. So yeah, I'm going to skip past that because I'm already so far in. But once you establish something like this, every time you interact with you're starting at this point, it's going to customize the way it responds based on what it knows about you, and that is so powerful. So now the question is, how can I start using tools, existing tools, to begin to reach out to my community and my audience? And so this is a great example of something that I had a lot of fun refining and building. And so I came in here, I created this room. I said, act as if you're a professional headline writer for a business journal in the United States. And then I just described exactly what I wanted to do. And so with this prompt, and I'll share these prompts with you that I built, I can begin to really unlock the power of these large language models. So I'm going to use one of my clients' business now. I'm going to use them as kind of a test here. Let's go with this article here. And so if you purchase the ChatGPT Plus and you enable plugins, it allows you to connect things that will give reach beyond just the basic ChatGPT. And so in this case, I'm instructing this to allow me to give it a URL, or I can just copy and paste the headline and the article content in if I don't have Plus, the Plus subscription. And so I'm just going to drop in a URL, and this is going to then reach out to that web page. And it's, what is it doing? Oh, you know what? During my testing, I had already ran through this, so it already knows what this article is all about. So it will reach out to the web page. It will scan the content of the page and know the article content, know the headline, and then it's going to give me a score based on the criteria that I specified in the top. And then it's going to give me some additional headlines in response. And so what's great about this is now I can understand exactly how I performed on my own. And so this is actually, in my opinion, a pretty decent headline. And so it says, here's the explanation for the score of 7. It's relevant to the article, has a playful tone with the use of the word uncork. It's optimal length. The prose is solid. However, it might not engage all readers, especially those unfamiliar with these areas. And so then it gives some additional potential headlines. And I found this to be super useful as I've been creating content. And so this is something you can start using right now. You literally just copy and paste this prompt into ChatGPT, feed it in the content, and you're ready to roll. All right, let's jump to the second example here. And Johnny, if there are any questions come up, will you just ping me so that I can...
Got a question, yeah.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
All right. So this is from Caleb.
Okay.
AI is not no. Have you tested using this with the custom instructions feature in ChatGPT, or do you see better results by including it in the prompt itself?
Yeah, I have. So what he's talking about is ChatGPT has this function that's unlocked through their beta features. You can pop in a bunch of different information, and actually, I do have this prompt loaded currently in that area. And so the point is that by giving some special instructions at the beginning, anytime you interact with ChatGPT in a new window, it already knows your preferences, the type of tone that you want it to speak in. For a while, I had ChatGPT calling me your liege, which was kind of fun, but it allows you to do that. So the problem that I've experienced with it is if you're trying to get specific with prompts like this headline generator, these instructions begin to bleed over into other conversations that you have. And so what I end up doing is I just have a catalog of different chat rooms that are already there on standby, so that at any point I just go to that chat room, pop in another URL or pop in some more information, and it will continue the conversation. So on that note, one thing to know about this tool is its memory is limited. And so if you're chatting and you continue the conversation, as it gets longer, it's going to begin to forget what was at the top of your conversation. The great news is you just scroll to the top where your last instructions were, click edit, and now I can give it an entirely new URL, and we'll start that process all over again. And so this way, the important portion of your context is never lost. It's able to pick up where it was and then continue going from there. So, yeah. Okay, so back to my next demonstration here. I want to talk about SEO. I found that SEO is a really great driver for these conversations. When I'm doing SEO for my own site, I'm preloading it with information about me because I want it to be context aware of who I am, who my company is. You should absolutely do this with your organization as well. Preload it with the information that's important to your organization, and especially if you're, an ad rep or you're in marketing, whatever it may be, preload information about yourself as well, so that as the output comes, it's going to know the context of who you are, and it will begin to it'll feed into that as well. So I have this prompt here. I'm asking it to be an SEO ninja. And the reason that I worded it this way is because I want you to know you don't have to go buy a prompt engineering book to understand how to write prompts. It's not that complicated. What you do want to do is explain the context of what you're trying to get out of it. People will say, oh, here's this magical hack to make it perform magically better. Sometimes those hacks work, but most of the time that's so not necessary. Ask it to be an SEO ninja. Giving it context is super important, but just do it in a conversational tone. So I'm telling it to be an SEO ninja. I want to give it a URL and have a discussion about how to optimize it. I am reminding it that I don't want it to analyze right off the bat. ChatGPT likes to do that. You give it a little bit, it gives you, an entire article of what you should be thinking about. Instead, I'm telling it to just ask me for the URL, which of course it's listening to. And so now I'm going to jump in here, and this is an article I had written. And so I'm going to grab this URL, and we're just going to do some quick SEO analysis on it. I did instruct this that I don't want it to dive deep into telling me all the things. I just want to have a conversation. So it should, if everything works, and it's not always consistent, it should just say, where do you want to start? WebPilot is the tool, that the plugin that is crawling the website first. And now it's saying, where do I want to start? So I'm going to jump in here, and I'm using Yoast SEO on my site, which is pretty decent. And so we're just going to take a look at this page and see where, let me reload this. Actually, we're going to see where we stand as far as SEO is concerned at this stage. And so if we come down here to the SEO analysis, there's quite a few things that it is complaining about right here. This might be too small. Let me make it bigger. So the first thing is I'm missing a key phrase. And so I'm just going to come in here and say, Yoast SEO is asking for a key phrase. And ChatGPT is going to come back, and knowing the article context, knowing who I am as a company, it's going to make a recommendation on what this key phrase should be. Imagery and content creation. That's actually not bad. So I'm just going to go with that, and I'll drop it in here. One thing to remember is you should always read what's coming out and make sure that it actually fits. This doesn't always happen. Sometimes you get into it and you're like, wait, this is not at all what we're looking for. And Johnny, I'm going over time. I'm going to try to hurry. Let's see. Please give me a meta description. Well, and so it's going to do the same thing. And so I would love to jump in and just walk you through step by step. As I was testing this out, I literally just walked through this entire set of analysts' problems and just had a conversation with ChatGPT on how to correct this. And so here's a meta description. And I'm seeing that it's yellow or orange, whatever color it is. And if I look down here, it's going to tell me that the length of the description is too long. And so I can literally just say, please shorten this and to 165 characters. And it'll do that. And so, I think the most powerful thing to understand, though, is like right here, it's mentioning CopperPress, and the meta description really isn't about me; it's about the article. So let's just say, drop CopperPress, and it'll rewrite it for you. And so that's the key takeaway that I want to leave with you, is to really have a conversation with this post. There's one other demonstration I was going to give you, and it's all about A/B testing. I don't have time. So what I'm going to do is I'll just create a write-up on how to use tools. And VWO actually has a free version of their tool that's really powerful. And so I'll write up an article about leveraging A/B testing and using ChatGPT to help generate the descriptions with A/B testing.
All right.
And yeah,
dude, well done. Okay, so here's Caleb. We don't have any. Okay, Caleb has a question. Caleb, I'm going to let you go ahead and ask that and any other questions that you have, and then I'm going to, when you're done, pass it to me, and then I've got some questions.
Yeah. So Dan asked, does this work well on Bing, or do you need to go to ChatGPT? So Bing Chat, Bing AI.
Yeah, so I'm everything I've read about Bing. I haven't personally used it. I'm on a Linux computer, so getting Bing to work is a huge process. So I haven't tested it, but everything I've read about it says that it'll. And so I say test it out, see how it works for you.
So is that thumbs up or thumbs down on Bing? Because
thumbs up from what I've read, just not personal experience.
And then same with Google's AI. I forget the name of it, but even experience with that one as well.
Bard is what it's called. Bard, and I've played with Bard. I don't like it as much as ChatGPT, primarily because when they released it, their user interface wasn't quite as intuitive to me personally.